Hi everyone, it's back to the Beatles again, and as usual, I'm accompanied by my trusty Beatles beverage, although, I don't know, this is Revolver, isn't it? So maybe I should entitle it Revolver Drink. And as I sat down this morning, I asked Vlad, are we still in Revolver? And then he handed me this cup, so clearly we are. I don't know what's coming. All I know is that to date, every single piece that I've listened to off of the Revolver album has been engaging, interesting, and every single one has had its very own unique personality, sound world, style. It starts to feel a bit like some of what I ran into when I did the Queen 50 series, because I that was all focused about the many different musical styles and the versatility of Queen as a band, and Beatles has been kind of a consistent style, different things along the way, until now, suddenly, oh wow, they are trying out so many new things. So I am curious to see what else they have on this Revolver album, and if it's yet another character style, or if they pull out some more familiar trick, and of course, I'm sure they'll do a fabulous job with it. So, as usual, I don't know what's in front of me. I don't know what I'm listening to. I'll play some guessing games along the way. After I've listened the complete first listen, I will read a bit and then we'll go back and tear it down. So, let's listen. Okay, yes, they did it again. Another completely different feel, character, qualities, style, and it is great. I am so. The thing that really grabs me in this one is all that's happening in the instrumentation of it. The piano, the drums, the guitar, the bass, the rhythms and the cross rhythms and the shifting elements, and it still comes out sounding so clean and so I don't know if organized is the right word. I'm not sure I have the word I want on the tip of my tongue right now, but everything has its own place. Well, it's one of those that feels like sometimes I've talked about how it feels like I can some music makes me feel like I can walk into it and get inside of it and start feeling around and going different places to different parts of it as if I'm in a room. And this feels like I can get inside, start exploring the room. I can go to this piece of furniture, that piece of furniture, this decoration here, and there's this feeling of spaciousness. And what kind of room is it? Well, it's a room that doesn't feel massive, but there is plenty of space to move around. Sometimes the room is small, sometimes it's large, sometimes it's full of furnishings and colors. This one is rather open, lightly furnished. I wouldn't say sparsely, but lightly, cleanly. And there's a bright window with sunshine streaming through and lighting it all up. Well, appropriately so, because as far as a guessing game of what the title is, I don't even need to guess. If I am wrong, I have no clue what they were thinking, but I assume that this is called Good Day Sunshine. Voice. I'm going to guess Lennon this time. Am I wrong or right?
You're wrong. It's Paul.
Ah! I was wrong! Well, the truth is, there were a couple places where I vacillated in the piece, but I kind of settled on John about halfway through. Got it wrong. Okay.
Who wrote it?
Oh. Well, that's one of the reasons I wasn't sure if I should choose John as the singer, because of course usually whoever writes it is the one who sings the lead, and I was thinking this doesn't quite sound like a John Lennon composition. But there were places where the voice tended towards a John Lennon sound. So That was one of the biggest things that put the brakes on my going towards Lennon, which I eventually did anyway. So I kind of doubt that Lennon wrote it. Which leaves me with most probably Paul McCartney. I haven't listened to enough by Harrison or Ringo, if either of them did much composition, but it seems like Lennon and McCartney are the ones who are composing the bulk of what they put out. So I'm going to go with McCartney. Vlad's nodding in the background, so I must be right. This is, of course, the 62nd song in this 150 series. The genre is classed as psychedelic rock. I don't know. The psychedelic rock thing seems to be covering so many different sounds. I'm not sure I quite believe either that this belongs in psychedelic rock or that I understand the psychedelic rock categorization yet. One or the other. It doesn't matter that much, but I'll keep that in the back of my mind. Good Day Sunshine is Paul's. Maybe I threw in a line or something, I don't know, said John Lennon in his 1980 Playboy interview. Wrote that out at John's one day. The sun was shining, Paul remembered in 1984, adding, influenced by the Lovin' Spoonful. I haven't listened to them. He elaborates further in his book Many Years From Now. It was really very much a nod to the Lovin' Spoonful's Daydream, the same traditional, almost trad jazz feel. That was our favorite record of theirs. Good Day Sunshine was me trying to write something similar to Daydream. John and I wrote it together at Kenwood, but it was basically mine, and he helped me with it. The song was much admired by American composer and orchestral conductor Leonard Bernstein. Well, you know, I've heard that, and I actually have listened to a few of his lectures and presentations where he talks about how he himself doesn't dismiss the Beatles, unlike many others of his generation and profession. So I know that he was an admirer of the Beatles' music, although I didn't know this one in particular. When presenting the CBS News documentary Inside Pop, The Rock Revolution in April 1967, Bernstein praised Good Day Sunshine for its rhythmic surprises and key changes. Indeed, it has some great ones, citing these as examples of why the Beatles' music was superior to most of their contemporaries' work. And, well, okay, superior to most of their contemporaries' work. Maybe I will allow that statement to most. But I'm not going to say all, and I guess Bernstein chose his words carefully too, because clearly the Beatles were among the best of the best. They were the biggest, most influential in many ways. At the same time, I've heard some others from that era who were also really great, had their very own sound and style, and although their music was different, I can't dismiss it as lesser than the Beatles. So I think Bernstein. First I call him Lennon, then I call him Beatles. I think Bernstein chose his words carefully, and so I can agree with his statement. Well, let's go back and listen in more detail. Maybe we can catch some of those rhythmic changes and key changes that Bernstein was talking about, and maybe we'll hear a few other things as well. So, right off the bat, well, not quite. At the beginning, we have this slow pulsing, which when I heard it, I was thinking, it's a very slow version of what I often hear at the introduction of a more a rock song that comes after the Beatles. You know, they have. It seems that you have this common driving pulse bass line drums or something as in the intro, but this isn't driving. This is slow. It's not super slow, but it's kind of that middle tempo where I was thinking, what is coming next? What is this going to set up? It's not the stereotypical ya da 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 da. Neither is it bom bom bomb. What's it going to be? Well, now that I've been through the whole piece, I have some ideas forming in my mind. Um, sunshine. I'm going to be moving towards the idea of sunshine in this piece and how this music kind of conveys that. And right at the beginning, I'm thinking it's kind of like the first bit of sunlight coming up over the horizon when the sun rises in the morning. You just feel the day warming up. And everything starts, and the sun bursts over the horizon, and good day, sunshine. To me, that sounds like a nice way of describing what I hear and feel in the music, and I feel like it's appropriate to the topic of the song. So I'm going to go with that. It could be explained other ways, but more technically, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. In fact, let me write it on the score here so that you can see, because I find it really interesting what's happening after this pulse is set. So it doesn't matter whether it's the piano or the bass. We actually don't really have drums at first. It's just 1, 2. And at first, the first time I listened, I thought there were drums in there perhaps, but I guess it's the piano that gives it that slight bit of percussive quality here at the beginning. So it's simply something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that, along with the bass, gives this nice. It's full, it's bassy, but it also has a point, a little bit of a percussive point to it. So when the drums enter with these triplets here, it doesn't sound like it's their first entrance to my ears. It sounds like we've had a bit of a percussive element from the beginning, and so it's a smooth transition, rather like as the sunlight is starting to burst over the horizon. And it's a nice feel. And that cymbal crash is great. It's just like the light hits you in the eyes. Suddenly the sun is over the horizon. You can't look there anymore. You've got to duck your eyes away because, whew, it's day. It's morning. Sun is up. Ready or not, here we come. So then, why am I making such a big deal of this? Because it's in such a strong 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And they give us 4 full repetitions of that. In fact, you can even see something funny in my score that might not be very familiar to some of you, and that is a blank bar which has nothing written. But it has this little design, which is a dot and a slash and another dot. That simply means repeat what came before in that bar. So this means the same pattern here happens in the next 3 bars. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And then when this triplet drum pattern comes in, 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to it's a full bar of triplets, not just a quick little drum roll to throw us into what comes next. I think there's a really good reason for that, and it becomes very evident as soon as the voices enter with good day, sunshine, because guess what? Suddenly, we're a little bit disoriented. Where on earth are we supposed to find the beat? What beat are we supposed to be paying attention to? I find it interesting that in my score here that I'm working off of, they have actually changed the time signature. They say it's in 3 and then in 5 and then back to 3 and 5. Well, if we were to divide that, if we were to average it out, we'd still end up with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is exactly what's happening with our ears here. We're being pulled towards this sort of syncopated, offbeat, or different beat pattern in the voices, but the drums are still very much keeping this 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's like our attention has to be split 2 completely different directions. Let's just play a game here and see if, by listening to the introduction and getting ourselves really in the 4 groove, we can beat out 4 for the entire, it's sort of a refrain, chorus of the next few bars as they sing Good Day Sunshine. It might be more challenging than you think. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It works! It works so well if you listen primarily to the drums. The drums make it work. And as you're focusing on the drums, you feel that the piano, with its yada-da-dum, is also working in tandem with the drums in that regard. But what else the piano is doing there is kind of shadowing the voice. So we have this really great pulling 2 different directions. And it brings up this whole question of, should they have changed the time signature or not? Should the drums have been written in 4/4 while everything else is alternating between 3 and 5? Or should everything be written in 4/4 and just treat the melody as syncopation? It really depends on how you feel it. And more than that, it depends on what makes most sense written on the page. It's a little bit of an academic argument, but it does have relevance to the music itself because of how this music is tugging at our attention and playing with our feeling of the beat here. And perhaps this is one of the things that Bernstein really enjoyed about this piece, because it does have this great immediate, as soon as the sun rises, I'm pulling you in 2 different directions. The sun is shining. The world is pulsing. It's got its own heartbeat going. But, then we have our own lives to live. Good day, sunshine. And it's a lot of fun. So I'm not familiar with this Lovin' Spoonful band that what I read talks about. Maybe it's inspired by or perhaps even mimicking a bit. But to me, this has a classic, kind of jazzy piano feel to it. Yada-da-dum, bum, 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 da-da-da-dum, bum, bum. And, well, at this point, once we get through that introductory portion, we do settle into a very comfortable 4 in a bar feel, right when we get to I need to laugh, dum, bum, bum, dum, bum, bum. And everything else is then kind of swinging around it. There's a sort of a swing feel, triplet feel to the music. The drums still keep the 4 for a while. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And after we've set up this carefree, greeting the sun, good day, sunshine, I love the way when we get to the measured part, 1, 2, 3, 4, I need to laugh. Then it starts to feel, we have this swing feel, which makes it feel very carefree and joyous. There's this easygoing saunter to it, which comes with the sort of jazzy feel. And so we hear, I need to laugh. And I love this moment. I've got something I can laugh about. Almost as if a laugh interrupted the line. I've got something I can laugh about. Such a great setting of that. I feel good and so forth. I also like what's happening in the piano here, because in the introduction, or what will come back as a sort of refrain chorus, the piano was yada-da-dum, moving upwards. And now I need to laugh, da-da-da-dum. There's a sort of reversal of it, which balances everything and keeps it from sounding too predictable, as well as, well, if we start looking at the contour of the melody, good day, sunshine, that's kind of a falling interval. But as that is progressing, it's rising in pitch. Good day, sunshine. Good day, sunshine. Good day, sunshine. And then I need to laugh. And so that's rising up. And when the sun is out, I've got something I can laugh about. I want to say sing. Something I can laugh about. And so the piano is kind of balancing the fall of the good day sunshine by climbing upwards. And then I need to laugh. Da 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 da. It's giving a counterbalance as well in the opposite direction. So well, I might say measured, so well measured, so well balanced. It's as if you put it on the scales and you said, okay, we need a little bit here, we need a little bit here. Does it balance out? Okay, now it's good. And it has that feeling of very, very nicely measured balance.
Good day, sunshine.
I feel good, and then the piano climbs down. Now, this is pushing it a little bit, but I don't feel like it's inappropriate. I feel good, and the piano climbs down instead of up. Wait a minute. Usually when we feel good, we feel upbeat, moving upwards. I feel good, yada-da-da. But no, I feel good, yada-da-da. As if it's deep inside of us that I feel good. I feel good, so that moves up, and then da-da-da-da. It moves us inwards and focusing on really not just the externals, not the superficial, but I feel good in a special way. And so even in a part of the music where it's simply a pattern, which is built in by now, but the placement of where the words actually fall along this pattern that has been built up by this point works very well. That shows a very good, almost sixth sense. We could even say seventh sense of when it comes to musical composition. It's beyond the calculated. It's beyond the practice. It's to the point where it's instinctive, and perhaps even more than instinctive. Sometimes it might be just by chance that it worked out so well, but that chance is somehow cultivated. It's cultivated through a huge amount of practice and a huge amount of instinct. That's why I say you could call it a seventh sense. Sixth sense is instinct. Seventh sense is maybe the chance that comes from practice and instinct together. This is one of those moments where, it's hard to say that it was intended. It's hard to say that it was even an instinctive gesture. It's more coincidence, but it's coincidence that really works beautifully. And I can't leave it to just they got lucky. It's more coincidence that came from their ability, their ears, their collaborativeness, their openness, their experimentalness, and their vast experience at this point.
In love and it's a sunny day.
When this comes back, good day, sunshine. What Ringo is doing with the drums now helps us out as we're trying to parse this 4-beat versus 3 and 5 beat, and is this melody a syncopation, or is it something that actually is timed differently? I think at this point, what Ringo is doing makes it clear that it's syncopation over a 4. Listen to what he's doing with the drums. He's added something. He's added a little syncopated beat where the syllable falls in between the beat.
Good day, sunshine.
And you hear him keeping the steady 4. And this syncopation in the drums, we hear it and we experience it in the drums as syncopation. Whereas if we're just focusing on the voice, that's where we get a little bit lost and think, oh, is this a time signature change? But it's as if Ringo says, okay, we messed with you at the beginning. We really gave you a puzzle. Now let me just give you the little key. Let me clarify it for you. I think it sounds great.
Good day, sunshine.
I guess I haven't heard the Beatles do a piano solo yet. I've heard harmonica. I've heard a good bit of guitar. Did they do a flute at some point? Well, and then of course there's the Indian sitar. And I don't know if I've heard a drum solo really yet, no. But piano, nice! And it lends a nice warmth to this, which is a bit different from the type of guitar solos that they do, which are a little bit brighter, a little bit edgier. The piano gives this warm, sunny feeling. And it keeps up the whole jazzy idea here. I like this line. Where is it? We take a walk, the sun is shining down. Burns my feet as they touch the ground. Whew, what a hot day. But he doesn't seem to care. It's like, I'm getting blisters on the soles of my feet, but... Or perhaps the soles of my shoes are melting off. But it doesn't even concern me. I'm in love. I have this wonderful experience. It's a good day, sunshine. Here comes the chorus again. So it's kind of like the piano is doing the last half of the verse as a sort of solo moment. And then we launch right back into this chorus. Good day, sunshine. And still Ringo is pointing out to us this syncopation. So at this point, I feel very confident arguing that what my score shows here, I wouldn't have done it that way. I would have done it with a 4 all the way through. Although there are legitimate arguments for doing it this way.
Good day, sunshine.
What a nice little gap in the music there. Dee-dee-dee-dee-bum. Good day, sunshine. And you almost expect another drum strike or something. Now, back to this whole guitar thing. When I first listened, I was listening to everything, and it didn't really register that I really don't hear much guitar in this song. The piano kind of fills that role, and now that I'm hearing the piano solo, it's suddenly dawning on me that I hear bass, I hear percussion, I hear voices, I hear piano, but I really don't hear guitar. Either it's very, very sparse, or maybe it doesn't exist at all. There's no guitar moment that has really caught my ears at this point.
Shine, then we lie.
So who said She Feels Good? I'm curious. If this is McCartney singing primarily, it was kind of deep for Lennon. She feels good. Is that Lennon hamming around, or is that one of the others chiming in saying she feels good? I don't know, but it's a fun little interjection there. Another thing, let's kind of shift gears away from the rhythm and the melody and all the instrumentation that we've been enjoying. I'm noticing something about the harmonies as well, the chords, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but it's interesting to notice as we go through this piece and just look at the chords that are outlined. F sharp, B, F sharp, E, A, F sharp, B7, E7. To me, as I'm looking at this, it suddenly hits me. I don't see any minor chords marked, and I don't really hear any minor chords in the mix. I'd have to sit down and really go beat by beat to make sure I'm not overlooking something. But I don't see, and I don't really notice. It gives it this really bright, sunny feel to have so many major chords. And what key are we in anyway? It kind of depends on whether we're in the refrain or whether we're in the verse. Because at the beginning. It's in the good day sunshine, it feels like we're kind of in B major, and actually this is set up with a key signature of B major. So that's how the song opens, but once we get to the verses, we need to laugh. And when the sun is out, I've got something to laugh about. And suddenly we lose this feeling of being in B. It's not even an E. It's more like it's an A. I see A here. And when we sing, I need to laugh, it feels like we're really arriving on the home chord there. I need to laugh. And everything else are sevens. So really A is our clear home key. Another thing which probably Bernstein enjoyed was this going from B to A. But I love the fact that all I'm seeing and pretty much all I'm hearing are major chords. Usually, even in a major key, we hear a minor chord here or there, unless we're sticking with just the primary 1, 4, and 5 chords. But let's say we're in A major. Let's say that we're looking at the verse here, and we've got A major to begin with, which is going to be, well, I've colored it up so much I can't see my notes. I need to laugh, and when the sun is out, and then we're up here, I've got something I can sing about, laugh about. I'm still confusing that. We've got A, I need to laugh. F sharp major. Well, that's a bit of a surprise. That's the major 6. And then we go to B major 7. When the sun is out, again, a bit of a surprise, that's the major 2. And then to E, which is our major 5, which is pretty standard. I've got something I can laugh about. Those are the chords underlying that line. And as you can see, we don't have any of the usual, minor 6, minor 2. They've become bright. They've become full of sunshine. They've become just hitting us in the face. Almost that feeling of, really strong. Sun is so powerful, you can hardly stand it unless you're in the shade. Well, by the time we get to the third verse, as we are here, we are under a nice shady tree, just enjoying the main reason the sun is out.
We lie.
Wasn't that great? Suddenly we shifted up some more, and I feel like, okay, this is taking us to the next level. We've really moved, and we're kind of near the end. This is pretty much I just have a few little sound bites left. But we've moved. In fact, they've even changed the key signature on my score to show it. We've moved higher in pitch. Let's go back and enjoy that, because that was just great.
Good day, sunshine.
It comes so close to the end. Oftentimes, we will hear a piece of music shift up a semitone or a tone, maybe for the last refrain or even the last verse. But here, they saved that movement till pretty much the coda, just ending it on a brighter note. It's already been bright. We already have all this happy-go-lucky, easy-going jazz swing, this bright 2, 3, 4, 1, the feeling of day has dawned, the sun has hit us in the eyes. This, of course, I've got something good to feel about. I'm in love. I can laugh no matter what. I'm proud to know that she's mine. She feels good. She knows she's looking fine. the one that I'm crazy about, she knows who she is, and she knows that she does look good. And she feels good, and I'm proud to be able to, have a girl like that doesn't even need me to feel good, but somehow, she's happy with me. So here we are. This is fabulous. This is amazing. This is wonderful. And it's a hot day. The soles are burning off the bottom of my shoes. We found a shady tree. We are happy. We're making love together. This is all wonderful. And after all of that, good day, sun. It's higher in pitch. It intensifies. And then it kind of breaks apart into the echoing. And I get this feeling that it's a sort of prismatic effect, this sort of the rays of light just shooting every which direction, as if it's far more than just a sunny day. And I've been focusing on the sunny day element all the way through this piece. But at the end, it suddenly takes it to focus on the fact that it's really not about the sunshine. It's about this girl I've got. And this takes it far beyond a sunny day. Everywhere I look, doesn't matter whether it's rainy or cloudy, there's the sunshine coming in, the colors of the rainbow, the prismatic effect. Here.
Good day, sunshine.
What a great way to end a piece and kind of change our focus from it being all about sunshine and focusing on the sunny element to suddenly shifting it and saying, but there's far more to life than just the sun shining down on me and burning the pavement under my feet. This is so much more than that. And that's the impression I'm left with at the end. I'm tempted to say the Beatles have outdone themselves on this Revolver album, except that everything that they are doing here feels so natural, feels so just as it should be. It doesn't feel like they're trying. It doesn't feel like they have somehow outdone themselves. It feels more like they have kind of broken through to the next level, rather like this ending of Good Day Sunshine. Oh wow, now we see the Beatles beyond the sunshine. And it's as if, and I guess I find myself thinking this a lot lately, and maybe I've said it too many times already. I don't know how many times I've actually voiced this thought, but the idea that everything that they're doing right now is such a beautiful, perfect picture, distillation of a mood, a quality, a personality, a story, a moment, but it captures it so perfectly. And that's some fine artistry there, and some fine skill, because you have to have both skill and artistic instinct to make it all work. So it was another Revolver piece. I don't know if I have more Revolver stuff coming. Vlad says yes, so who knows what it will be. I'll see you next time.